Halito Jimachukma, this is Chief Steve coming at y'all with another episode of True Story. To my new subscribers, welcome, welcome, welcome. And Yokoki, thank you for making this community 200 plus strong. I believe we're at 219 subscribers as I'm making this video. So I just wanted to say thank you again, Yokoki, for everything that you guys have done as far as sharing, commenting, liking, and of course subscribing. I am holding reviews. If you haven't seen the community post, I am, as of now, holding reviews or holding comments. I'm sorry, for review as we go forward, because there's been a lot of negativity, not only on my channel, but different comrades of mine from different trolls and those who say that they are who they are and don't want to believe who we are. You know, they like to troll. They like to come on here and try to derail us, try to distract us, and try to discourage us from learning our true story. So as we go forward, please do not hesitate to comment. We always want to have positive building amongst our people. So don't hesitate to comment, share good information, everything of that nature. If you don't see your comment post immediately, that's because it's up and held for review like everyone else's. And I'm my own moderator at this point. So I'm going to be the one that's personally reviewing these comments, reading them, responding to them as quickly as I can, and getting them posted out there on the video. So, like I said, if you don't see your comments, don't be alarmed. Don't, it's nothing wrong on your end. Just holding it for review. It's the algorithm, or it's just how I have my settings. So anyway, with that being said, again, thank you all for making this community grow. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the support. And yeah, let's get into it. So as you see with these beautiful ladies here, they are in their homes with their food, and they're wearing their traditional dress. So that's what we're getting into today. This part of the American Indian Characteristics and Customs series. This episode is based on the food, the home, and the dress. So we're going to be getting into very good and colorful detail of how we used to do things back in the day, at least from the eyes of the foreigner. Like I said, coming from the same book that we've been coming from. So through the author's eyes and through different sources and witnesses, you will see how our ancestors used to get down back in the day. All right, so without further ado, let's jump right into the book. Alrighty, y'all, here we are. This is the Indian races of North and South America, comprising an account of the principal Aboriginal races, a description of their national customs, mythology, and religious ceremonies, the history of their most powerful tribes and other most celebrated chiefs and warriors, their intercourse and wars with the European settlers, and a great variety of anecdote and description illustrative of personal and national character. This is by Charles de Wolfe Brownell, 1822 to 1909, publication date 1864. And as you see on top here, my source in the toolbar, archive.org. You can take that, put it down in your bar word for word, and or letter by letter, word for word, and you will be seeing exactly what I'm seeing. Okay, so we're going to be starting on page 36 on the bottom part here. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, here we go, y'all. The habitations and clothing of the Indians varied greatly with the temperature of the climate. In the warm regions of the South, a slight covering proved sufficient, while to resist the severity of a New England winter, very efficient precautions were taken. The usual manner of building their wigwams was by fixing a row of poles firmly in the ground in the form of a circle, and the bending and confining the tops together in the center. Now, before we go any further, basically what we've read is we're going into the clothing and we're going into the habitation. Okay, so as you see, we all didn't wear the same thing. We had different clothing for different types of weather, just like we have today. It wasn't no just one suit for all, or if you're a woman, you got to wear this. If you're a man, you got to wear that. Different tribes had different vibes, as I've stated before, had different designs of clothing, and our clothing was properly adjusted to the climate that we were in. Okay? And then also going into wigwams. Wigwams are not teepees. And I want you guys to get that clear. Keep it clear in your mind that we did not have teepees. We had wigwams. Wigwams are different. Wigwams are more so enclosed homes. We had kind of like domish, and they're houses. Wigwams are houses. They're not tents. Okay, so when you get into that, what I'm gonna do is give you a general um, difference, show you the difference between a wigwam and a teepee real quick. So y'all can just hold on, pause for the cause. We're gonna get into that difference right now. All right, y'all. So here we are. Like I said, there is a difference between the teepee and the wigwam. If you notice, the wigwam is more so domed out. It's more of a house-like figure rather than a tent. If I can zoom in a little bit, this right here is the wigwam. That's your wigwam right there. It's a heck of a rendition of one, but we were way more detailed in our craft than what you can see right here. But this is a rendition of a wigwam, and this right here is a rendition of a teepee. Okay, so know the difference. We did not have teepees. We did not live in tents. We had our own houses. We built our own houses. Okay, and it's another somewhat illustration right here again. Wigwam, teepee. All right, the wigwam's right there on the left, teepee right there on the right hand side. Excuse these cats out here. They in their mood. But yeah. So it even goes into the definition right here. This is Google, by the way. You can just type in what is the difference between a wigwam and a teepee, and it'll tell you. While a teepee has a pointy top, a wigwam is curved like a dome. A wigwam is made from barks or hides stretched over poles. Wigwam comes from the Algonquin word wigwam for dwelling. Okay? There are different kinds of wigwams. Some are more suited for warm weather, and others are built for winter. All right. So, and that source is at vocabulary.com. All right. So, without further ado, we're going to go forward into the book and see how they detailed our particular wigwams, the Aborigines. Okay, we're just going to start over here on this sentence. It says the usual manner of the building, or the usual manner of building their wigwams, was by fixing a row of poles firmly in the ground in the form of a circle, and then bending and confining the tops together in the center. A hole was left for the smoke of the fire to escape at the top of the cabin. Okay, so it just tells you right there. These were cabins. These were cabin homes that we were dwelling in. Our dwellings were cabins, houses. They were not tents, not teepees. Okay, every other part being warmly and closely covered with matting. A tight screen hung over the doorway, which was raised when anyone entered and then allowed to fall into its place. A species of matting was prepared by peeling the bark from trees and subjecting it, packed in layers to a heavy pressure. Okay, so there's a lot of detail going into this. It wasn't just laying leaves over sticks. With this material, or with mats woven from rushes, etc., the walls of the huts were so closely thatched as to effectually resist wind and weather. Okay? So, like I said, a lot of work was put into our dwellings. Some of these wigwams were of great size, being from 50 to 100 feet in length, but the generality were of dimensions suitable to a single family. Okay, so we had different ones of different sizes. It was no generic, just, one and done type of deal. We built them according to our family size. All right. And we had bigger ones for meetings and, things of that nature. So their bedding consisted of mattresses. What? Mattresses? Again, you got to understand, we as Aborigines, a lot of the things that we're doing today, we have done and we've created in the past. And you have to understand also, when a lot of these foreigners came out here, they did not know of these different things. They did not understand, or nor did they, could basically fathom how advanced we were as a people. So, I guess that's why I said on that Google presentation, that doesn't do it justice. That was literally like a little hand model, or something that somebody put together just to give you a general idea as to what this thing looked like. But keep in mind, this thing, it consisted of mattresses disposed in bunks attached to the walls. Okay, so it wasn't just sticks. It wasn't just leaves on top of sticks, or any kind of primitive kind of thing that people like to say, oh, your people were primitive and y'all didn't know nothing about this, and the Europeans brought everything to you and y'all wouldn't know nothing if the Europeans didn't come. Look, listen, they didn't teach us anything about our dwellings. We had all this down before they even got here. We had beds basically attached to the walls. Okay, that's carpentry, that's masonry, that's a type of craft that is studied. Okay, mattresses disposed in bunks attached to the walls or upon low movable couches. Low movable what? Couches. We had mattresses and couches. Bear and deer skins furnished additional covering. Their other furniture, yep, that's right, furniture and household utensils were simple in the extreme. Clay or earthen pots, wooden platters, bowls and spoons and pails, ingeniously fashioned of birch bark, served their purpose for cookery and the table. So we had cookery, we had utensils, we had tables, we had platters, we had bowls, we had spoons, we had pails. We had all this stuff here before foreigners even got here. We were an advanced civilization. We always have been. Okay? So don't let anybody discourage you or discredit our people and tell you something otherwise. You've heard it here on True Story. We were an advanced civilization. It's right here in black and white. And like I said, my sources are right here on top of the toolbar. You can see them for yourself. They were skilled in basket making. That's not the only thing we did, though. You go to a lot of, different powwows and different things like that. They make you think that, oh, all they did was make baskets all day and, canoes. And we were master builders. We did a lot of things. Okay? So let's go. In many of their towns and villages, that's right, we had towns back then, for those who didn't know. Towns and villages, the wigwams were set in orderly rows with an open space or court near the center, while the whole was surrounded by a strong palisade. Now, I've went over palisades in the Aboriginal homes and housing video, but to come forward to it and to revisit, palisade is basically a wooden fence, a wooden gate that surrounds a community. And fence and gate is not to be taken lightly. This was a pretty tall, a tall build basically, that surrounded the community. It kept, unwanted animals and enemies of any sort, things like that away. It was a form of protection to protect our communities. Just like how you have gated communities today, you had gated communities back then. There is nothing new under this sun. You hear me? So, with an open space or court near the center, while the whole was surrounded by a strong palisade, having but one or two narrow entrances. Okay, so you had a few ways in, a few ways out, and they were tightly secured. For spirited descriptions and sketches of the modern Indian towns of the extreme west, the reader is referred to the valuable works of Mr. George Catlin. So you can look him up on archive.org and find his different books on the Aboriginal Americans, and he should have sketches of these things. And I've done my own personal, I guess you could say, sketches too. I didn't write them out, but AI generated images, which I'm going to show you in just a moment. In many respects, it will be perceived that old customs are still observed. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to show you guys, based on the description of what we just read here, how I was able to generate an AI image of what that may have looked like back then. So let's pause for the cause, and we're going to go forward to those images. Alrighty, y'all, here we are. So, like I said, wigwams, dwellings, not tents, not teepees. And these were domed out, curved, bent, however you want to say it was fashioned. They looked like homes, okay? There was a lot of detail that was being put in. Like I said, I just went literally word for word on here to the AI, and this is what it gave me, okay? And you can even see the holes on top for the smoke, and have a little courtyard center right there. You can build a fire, have community meetings, etc., etc. And you got the different size of wigwams, the different size of houses out there. You got some that are small for single families. You have some bigger for even bigger families. Okay? And then it's going right here. It's a little more descriptive. Kind of put my own spin on it a little bit. And cleaned it up a little bit. And that's where you see, you got these different types. And like I said, that wooden fencing that you see right there, that is a palisade. So that just shows you like it's yeah, go ahead. That just shows you right there that we protected our communities. Our communities were well protected. We had fencing. This was what you would call a gated community today. Okay? And you had, hundreds of people living in these communities, in these villages. Sometimes they were bigger. These were towns, sometimes thousands. That's the thing. Our tribes, different tribes had different vibes. We had different, numbers and everything. And this is just a genuine general detail description of what it may have possibly looked like back then. All right. So now that you guys got a general idea as to what the houses look like, we're going to be moving into the clothing. All right. So let's move on forward. Alrighty, y'all. So here we are. It says the clothing of the Indians consisted mostly of skins, dressed with no little skill. All right. When it says dressed with no little skill, that means we did the damn thing. All right. That's all that's meaning. Dressed with no little skill means we didn't just throw anything together. We put a lot of detail in how we dressed ourselves and how we adorned ourselves. It says the leggings of deer skins with a hand's breadth of the material hanging loose at the side seam and often highly ornamented with fringe and embroidery. Moccasins of buck, elk, or buffalo skin. Yeah, we had shoes, moccasins. And a garment of various fashions from a simple cincture about the loins to a warm and ornamental mantle or coat completed the equipment of the men. So we had coats, we had leggings, which is pants, and then we had shoes. We did our thing. We weren't just running around here naked. you know, there's some of us that like to be naked, and there's some of us that like to be, have as less clothes on as possible. You even got people like that in your family today. Just, that dude that can go outside any time of day and any weather and just have little or nothing on, have no shirt on, damn near nothing on. Same thing with our women, Got some who like clothes and some who don't. My wife just happens to be one that don't like clothes. Like she tries to wear as less clothes as possible when she can. That's just how she rolls. She just likes that's how our Indians did it, But when she dresses. You know what I mean? She put detail into what she wears. She gotta match. She gotta accessorize. She gotta do her thing. So. That's all it is. But I'm gonna show you how our men got down. We're gonna get into the women in a minute, but I'm gonna show you right now how our men got down as this train passes by. Okay. I'm gonna pause for the cause and get into the description of the AI generated description, word for word from what we just read. How the men dressed and adorned themselves. All right, so here we are. Train is still passing by. So if you hear a little rumbling and stuff in the background, that's what you hear. I'm on the other side of the tracks here. So anyway, this is the clothing that they were talking about, word for word from the book. This is what it would have looked like. All right. You see, it's like a hoodie almost that he has on. It's a coat, it's a mantle, right? The details and how we adorned ourselves was amazing, immaculate. It looked good. It looked like something that some of us would rock today. Going forward, going to the bottom, that buck, that elk, that buffalo moccasins. What are these? These be what they are. You know what I mean? That's that buck skin. You know what I mean? Like that's that buck skin. That's that elk skin. That's that buffalo. You know what I mean? That's that, we called them bison back then. Like, what you rocking? I got these bisons on. I mean, like, that's how we did it. Kept the fringes on lock. You know, you can even see like that coat mantle type deal, and it's the details in the cloth. Look at the cloth here. You know, everything was everything was put. A lot of effort and affection was put into the making of our clothing, and we dressed accordingly. We dressed accordingly to the weather. All right. We made sure that we we took care of ourselves. We made sure that no matter what weather, no matter what conditions, we were not only looking good but feeling good. All right. And plus we had to coordinate. We knew color schemes back then. We knew how to get down. All right. So these are just some images here of what that may have possibly looked like. The deer leggings, you know, things that kept us moving. You know what I mean? So it's all good. We accessorized and we did our thing. So we're gonna get into the ladies now in a moment as we move forward. So we're gonna pause for the calls and get back to the book here. Alrighty. Well, before we get into the ladies, it goes on to mention here, very rarely, even in our own times, do we find Indians who are willing to submit to the restraining and inconvenient dress of the whites. They have always been accustomed to leave the thigh bare, and about the neck they can endure none of the clumsy and disagreeable bandages in such universal use among so-called civilized nations. All right. So, and when they say keep the thigh bare, you know, before skinny jeans became a thing, we did not rock skinny jeans. We did not rock those real tight, confining type of pants, those real tight type of confining shirts. And I mean, things are different now. It seems like, in today's time, everybody trying to get everything as tight on their body as possible. I don't know why, but you can see right here, that wasn't an Aborigine thing at one point. We did not do that. Like, we like to keep things loose. We like to keep things comfortable. It's just how we roll. Says those who wear shirts, says Carver, never make them fast. And when you say never make them fast, we never made them tight, like fastened, like super, super fastened. We never made it tight, either at the wrist or the collar. So no tight wrists, no tight sleeves, no tight collars. Can't breathe in the neck and shit. We didn't do all that. It says this would be a most insufferable confinement to them. And just to give you an idea, let me take you forward to this image here, a familiar image that you might have seen before, to just show y'all like what they may be talking about. So we did not go around walking around looking like this. All right, y'all may have remembered this from the scene, in Django, that famous scene when Jamie Foxx took that whip to that white boy, and everybody was all happy for that. But he had to go incognito. He had to go as disguised as somebody that's been accustomed to civilization. You know what I mean? He had to go as somebody who was an Aborigine that's been basically civilized, that's in a higher social status. So he literally wore the part. He embodied it. But we did not rock stuff like this on a regular. Not until, later on in times where we did have to acclimate to the civilization that was coming in, the industrial, being a part of the industrial complex and politics and just getting into that way of doing. And even then, we had our own style. You didn't see a lot of people just like on here. You didn't see a lot of the pale guys rocking the style like this. He made sure he had a certain fabric. He made sure he was coordinating with his color scheme. He made sure that he did the do. If he's gonna have to look like one of them, he's gonna do it to the best of his he's gonna put his flavor on it. So this is a general idea of what I'm talking about, though. This wasn't something that was a regular, fit for us. And that's why you can kind of see, it was one of these sisters back here, one of our sisters back here at the beginning, before the scene came through. It was when they took them to go find the Ritter brothers, I believe it was. Um, she had asked them like, say, so you free? Because she was in servitude on the plantation there. She was like, so you free? And he was like, yeah, that's what they said, didn't they? And then so, and then she kind of threw some shade at him. Was like, you wanted to dress like that, so you decided to dress like that. You wanted to dress yourself like this, like. And he kind of looked at her like, girl, please, I look good, But that's it just shows like to the average American Indian back then, it wasn't a known thing for us to dress up as confined as this. You know what I mean? It just wasn't our kind of deal. And even going into today, well, I got some images of from the time when I grew up, just me personally. Nobody was rocking this stuff in our Amerindian neighborhoods. Nobody was rocking super tight things when I grew up. And when I grew up, I mean, talking about the early 2000s when I was a teenager and stuff, and in the 90s, 2000s, we rocked even then. We did not have loose, or we did not have tight clothing. You know what I mean? And that's what we meant by keeping the thighs bare. By keeping the thighs bare, we were talking about, I mean, besides our underwear, of course, keeping the thighs bare. You see how they're not so confined, and these are loose fitting, keeping the neck loose. Nothing too strenuous on the neck. You know what I mean? Even with the polos and stuff back then, the collared shirts, we kept a loose collar. You know what I mean? We didn't rock super tight confining things like that. I mean, yeah, we had suit and ties and stuff like that and formal dressing, but on a regular day, we were comfortable, man. And suits was comfortable for a lot of us back then too. But we had them in our own style. We did our own thing with our suits, because you even see the suits that we wore back then, going back into the 30s, 40s, 50s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, early 20th century and stuff, when everybody was rocking suits and ties and everything. We didn't dress up like the old English. We didn't have those, little paisley shirts and things. I mean, only one that was really rocking paisley like that was Prince. You know what I mean? So we wasn't doing that old English look, and I don't have any pictures of those per se, but this is just a general idea as, just growing up, we weren't, our Nijis didn't really do the, excuse me, didn't really do the tight clothing thing. I mean, wearing tight clothes and skinny jeans and skin tight shirts and things like that. That just became like a thing as of like maybe 10, 15 years ago. I mean, you had some of it in the 80s and the 70s, but for the most part, I mean, like not to the extremes that it is today. You know, it's like them skinny jeans be skinny jeaning, and a lot of us just can't get with it. You know, we rather just have the fresh unk look. You know what I mean? It's like it's still some of us out there that have the fresh unk look. You know, so and you, hey, don't get on my fresh unks out there. You know, because I may be one of them. Sometimes I like a nice little, loose fit. And it's cool. That's the era I grew up in, and that's a lot of us Nijis that's out here today. Like, we want to be comfortable. I mean, sometimes it ain't oversized like it used to be, but at the same time, we make sure that we fit and we comfortable in it. We ain't overly tight and trying to bulge things out and make things stand out the way they shouldn't. It's it ain't about all that. And that's not what our Nijis did back then either. That was more of a Eurocentric thing. So with that being said, we're gonna move forward in the book. All right, it says the women wore a short frock reaching to the knees. Their covering for the legs and feet were similar to that worn by the men. In some portions of the country, very beautiful specimens of ornamental mantles, covered with neatly arranged feathers, were seen and described by early writers. Colored, colored porcupine quills were in general use. Porcupine quills were in general use, both for stitching and ornamenting the clothing and other equipment of the Indian. A fondness for gay colors, which is bright, flamboyant colors, gaudy ornaments, has ever been conspicuous in the whole race. And it says, from pecan and other roots, a brilliant red paint or dye was prepared, and with other pigments, as charcoal, earths, and extracts from the barks of certain trees, they painted their bodies in different styles, either to make a terrible impression on their enemies or simply to bedeck themselves in a becoming manner in the eyes of their friends. So before we even get into that, the body coloring, let's get into what the women used to dress up and look like. Got some AI generated photos just from this paragraph right here. I got some AI generated photos that may seem, close to what they're describing here. All right, y'all. So this is what that dress for the women would have usually looked like. And you see the porcupine quills are in well use, well effect. They use them for stitching. They use them for adornments. They did, different things like that. And, they used it for their fringes sometimes or at the bottom of the skirt, however they, did it. So, and that's just a general idea. This is more of a detailed look, and it's very beautiful how they would put these things together. So this is just a general idea here as to what that may have looked like. Okay, so let's take a good look at that. It's really nice. Our women dressed to impress, and they did their thing. You see how our women look today, so you can only imagine how they looked back then. Quite beautiful. And that's an understatement. All right. Our Aborigine women are amazing. They are beautiful. They're the most beautiful women on the planet. And they got a high sense keen of fashion. So with that being said, let's go over that paragraph that we had got into over the body painting, and I'm gonna show you some more images on that. Okay, so a fondness for gay colors, and like I said, gay colors, bright, flamboyant colors, really bright, colors that catches the eye, and gaudy ornaments has ever been conspicuous in the whole race. So we like to be seen, we like to be known. It says from pecan and other roots, a brilliant red paint or dye was prepared, with which and with other pigments as charcoal, earths, and extracts from the barks of certain trees. They painted their bodies in different styles, either to make a terrible impression of their enemies or simply to bedeck themselves in a becoming manner in the eyes of their friends. The usual savage custom, they call it savage because they didn't understand it, the usual savage custom of wearing pendants at the ears was common. Um, the cartilage was frequently stretched and enlarged by weights. So we did use gauges. We had gauges back then. From the tip of the north to the bottom of the south, there were different tribes that engaged in ear gauges. All right, y'all know what those are. If you don't know, look them up. And by winding it with brass wire. So we use different minerals and stuff, to bedeck ourselves, to make ourselves look good until it nearly reached the shoulder. So some of us like to drag that earlobe all the way down to the shoulder. So, I mean, it is what it is. It says tattooing, just like, with piercings, tattooing was practiced by some nations, but not so systemically or to so great an extent as has been observed among the savages of warmer climates where little clothing is worn. So those who lived in hotter weather, particularly the South, it's more humid, hot, and stuff like that. Their bodies was being shown more because they didn't wear that many clothes. They like to, be exposed a little bit, like to show their stomachs, like to show their chest, like to show their thighs, and everything of that nature. You see how our women wear it today and our men wear it today, and when you got your arms showing, men, and ladies, you got your thighs and your legs and everything else showing, whatever you want, you feeling like you feeling, and y'all like to be tatted up. A lot of our women like to be tatted up. A lot of our men like to be tatted up. And just to show, it's an art. That's all it is. Got another train passing by, but it's just an art. It's body art. That's something that we did. It's nothing wrong with any of that. It's how we've always gotten down. Okay, even so, mostly people who stayed in warmer weather kept little clothes on. But let's take a look at how that may have looked with this AI generated image here. Pause for the calls yet again. All right, y'all. So this is just a general image. I didn't go too far into detail. It's just the body painting and the tattooing and how things would have looked in certain cases. But this is in particular to the body painting. This is what he was talking about. So on the left here was a rendition of being out social and stuff like that. Just having something that your friends could check out and look at. And just to look good for the ceremony, look good for whatever function you're trying to go to, get at, or just any everyday activity you engage in. You're just being social and you just want to look good. That's body painting. That's how they got down. And then wartime, on the right here, when it's war, you got the difference where you use that charcoal. You're trying to put yourself, now this is black, what I mean, on the right. He had to paint himself a black color, with the red lining, and giving you that intimidating look of war path, like you don't want to mess with me because I'm gonna be that one to get you. You know what I mean? So like it's a form of intimidation. You can even see that in our sports sometimes when had our Ray Lewis's back in the day when he used to play, paint his face and everything, and that war chief style. So that's what we did. That's our warriors painted themselves for war, intimidate the enemies. And then on the left here, we just painted ourselves in a casual form, not as, intimidating, or not intimidating at all. It's just something that we just did to look good, And then on top of that, we had tattoos, and different things like that. Just body art has always been a part of our culture. So don't shame nobody that, he got all these tattoos. Look at all them tattoos on his face and on his head and all on his arms and got tattoos all over. Look at her with all the tattoos up and down her legs. This is something that we've always done. The body art, the body has always been a canvas for us, and it was a way of self-expression. Okay, so don't belittle, don't degrade, don't talk down to any of our Nijis out there that have excessive piercings and tattoos and stuff. If you don't understand it, your DNA may not be from that same tribe. You know what I mean? From that same clan, because what they feel like is good for them may not be good for you, and vice versa. That still, we still need you. You know what I mean? So, that being said, let's go on forward to the book. All right, so it says one of the most noted species of ornament, which answered all the purpose of a circulating medium among the Eastern Indians, was wampum. And they say Eastern Indians, Indians on the East Coast of North America in particular, was wampum. Wampum is kind of like a necklace, or ornament, you know, it goes around the neck for the most part, and then it can also be made into like you got different ways you can do wampum, but it's going to describe the adornment as far as the accessory for clothing. It says this consisted of small circular bits of seashell, smoothly ground and polished, with a hole drilled through the center of each by which it might be strung or attached ornamentally to the belt or other parts of the dress. The quahog, or round clam, furnished the principal material for this coin. The variegated purple portions of the shell being much the most valuable. So basically, the heart of the shell, the purple portions, it's close to the center. It says the great labor in preparing it was the boring, which was affected by a sharp flint. And it says, when we considered the slow nature of such a process, we can scarce credit the accounts given of the immense quantities of wampum that were procured by the white colonists, while it retained its value in exchange for European commodities, or which were exacted as tribute in atonement for national offenses. So this is something, and then like I had mentioned before in our last episode, the wampum was something that was created, that was strung together and hung like a type of memorial for when wars ended and stuff, and we buried the hatchet between two tribes. The wampum was hung in the presence of the buried hatchet, in the place where the hatchet was buried, to commemorate the war. You know, the lives that were lost on both sides and the peace that was gained from that war. You know, so that's basically wampum was particularly on the East Coast, was very, very valuable and very sacred, and that's something that we used as a trading commodity to get basically to get valuable things from the Europeans. Okay, and so, and it says right here, the wampum pige, says Gookin, is made principally by the Block Islanders, and Long Island Indians. Okay, so shout out to Long Island. If I got any listeners out there, had Indians, had Nijis out there on that side that made the wampum. Okay, upon the sandy flats and shores of those coasts, the wilk shells are found. All right, with this wampum pige, they pay tribute, redeem captives, satisfy for murders and other wrongs, purchase peace with their potent neighbors, like I just discussed, as occasions required. And it says, in a word, it answers all occasions with them as gold and silver doth with us. Okay, so this was just as valuable as silver and gold. They delight much in having and using knives, combs, scissors, hatchets, hoes, guns, needles, awls, looking glasses, and such like necessaries, which they purchase of the English and Dutch with their pike, um, and then sell them their peltry for their wampike. Okay, so I'm gonna show y'all what it may have genuinely looked like, and then we're gonna go forward. Okay, so right there, what she's wearing around her neck, that's the wampum. That's the wampum pige, or the wampum is made out of shells, you know, and deep water, and off the shores and stuff is very valuable, very valuable. We made different ornaments with them. You see, different, it comes in different colors and different styles, and we took a lot of time and effort, and I think that's what made it even more valuable, the time and effort that it was taken to design and craft these things, you know, and that's what made it valuable. The affection and the attention to detail that was put into the creation and the craft of these things is what made these things beautiful, which made these things highly valuable. Not only just good to look at, but made it a monetary source of such because of the detail. Okay? The detail in it. Even used for earrings, used it for headbands, used it for, bracelets, used it for necklaces. But that's what they use. That's how they did it. And this is a chiefess. And you see the value is almost like pearls. And that's how valuable. And pearls today, they come from the ocean, and they are at a very high value. Anything from the water, for the most part, that we took out was very high value. And you see, she got it all on her arms. She got it on her belt stash. She got it on, you know, she's adorned with it. And that just shows the richness that she has. That this woman would be very rich. You know, and this is us, basically trading with the Europeans, trading with the foreigners, trading with the Spanish or whoever you want to. This is a form of trade, something that was worth a lot, you know, and so that's pretty much, we used it as a transaction. You know what I mean? So this is about as good as the AI would give me. So just it is what it is, but you get the general idea here. So with that being done, let's go ahead and go forward and finish this thing on out. All right, last but not least, we're going to get into the food. The principal articles of food used by the Aborigines of the present United States were the products of the chase, fish, beans, some spices of squashes, and pumpkins, and maize or Indian corn. All right. All these things indigenous to the United States, this is what we used. This is what we had. Wild rice growing in rich wetland in the interior of the country, furnished a wholesome and easily gathered supply of farinaceous food to the tribes of the temperate portion of the United States. Shellfish were a very important addition to the resources of those who dwelt near the seacoast and in the interior. Various spices of wild roots and certain nutritious bark supplied the failure of the cultivated crop. So when our crops didn't come through, or something happened where we didn't have enough, we'd use nutritious bark. We used some wild roots. We made things edible. All right, because we knew the land, and we still ate good. And it says, and it furnished the means to eke out a subsistence when the hunt was unsuccessful, or the last year's stores had been consumed before the season of harvest. So, like I said, if things went left or things didn't come out the way we wanted to, we still knew how to take care of ourselves. We never went without any food. Okay, we weren't starving. We weren't homeless. We weren't we weren't nomads of survival. Survival factor. We weren't eating each other. We weren't cannibals or anything of that nature. It's nothing of that. We knew how to eat. We knew how to prepare and take care of ourselves. Okay, we didn't have to. We didn't have to do those things that they try to think that our people did. These were tropes. These were stereotypes that were enforced on us to basically make us look bad. But when it came down to it, when things got bad, we knew how to take care of ourselves. We knew how to not only survive, we knew how to thrive. Okay? To effect a clearing and to secure a crop with such rude implements of stone as they possessed appears to us almost an impracticable undertaking. But we are assured by early writers that they obtained as large a yield from a given spot of ground. Oh my goodness, these trains. All right, you're going to hear some trains, y'all. Man. Why everybody want to come passing through when I'm doing my video? Granted, I've been doing my video for a minute, but come on. Anyway, you could have sworn I live like in a train station. Shit. But my buildings are over here. It's literally on the other side of a busy train track in the main street. I'm like I said, I'm still in the hood. I'm on the other side of the tracks here. All right. So anyway, let's just start this paragraph over, man. To effect a clearing and to secure a crop with such rude implements of stone as they possessed appears to us almost an impracticable undertaking, but we are assured by early writers that they obtained as large a yield from a given spot of ground as can be produced by the assistance of all modern conveniences and contrivances. Two dishes, greatly in vogue among the Indians, have maintained their popularity among their European successors. So not only did we like this, the Europeans liked it too. So when they came through here, and these are two dishes that they really enjoyed because we were welcoming. We brought them in. Green corn, the ripening of which was celebrated by a national dance. So we even had a dance for corn, y'all. Is sought as eagerly as when it supplied a grateful refreshment to the red men, emaciated as Smith describes them, by the spring diet of fish and roots, a preparation denominated succotash, consisting of maize, boiled with beans and flavored with fat bear's meat, or fish, still remains, with the substitution of pork for wild meats. So imagine, before we had pork, we were eating bear meat. Oh my goodness. And if you ever had bear meat, whew, you would know how good that meat is. So very fatty, and fat meat is it's delicious when you season it right. Oh man. So, and it says a favorite dish. It's a favorite dish in New England, particularly. So shout out to New England. That's what y'all used to get down with, and then y'all probably still get down with the succotash. Let me know if you do that. And it says Carver says that as prepared by the natives, it was beyond comparison delicious. All right, so we're just gonna stop right here, and I'm gonna show you some go forward and show y'all some images, and we're gonna wrap this video up. So I've held y'all long enough, so let's pause for the cause and wrap this thing on up. Okay, so as you can see here, This is how we got down with the beans, the succotash, the fatty food, the fatty meat. You know, that's how we did it. That is how we do it. Our beautiful women prepare these dishes, and even the European had to say these things were damn good. This dish, So shout out to our beautiful women that always held it down for us, that always knew how to cook, and hey, we've got some men out there that know how to cook, that know how to throw down. We always knew how to take care of ourselves. All right, we always knew how to do this thing, from from building our houses, from how we dressed ourselves, all the way to the food that we ate. We always knew, even before anybody even got out here, we knew how to take care of ourselves. Okay, so I mean, hey, this is how we got down. This is what we did, and it was a beautiful thing. So don't let anybody tell you, oh, the Indians didn't know anything, or you came from this place. You're not even from America. You're from, someplace in Africa. And when you came out here, you didn't know nothing. And your parents didn't know nothing. Your people didn't know anything. Your ancestors didn't know nothing. The Europeans taught you guys everything. They taught you guys how to eat. They knew your soul food. That's slave food and blah, blah, blah. Look, all of this stuff that we use today, beans, squashes, pork, fatty meats, roasting, barbecuing. We did all that stuff before anybody even got out here. Because for one, you need to realize we were never anywhere else. We were here. We've been here, and we always are going to remain here. Okay? We don't die. We multiply. You hear me? We've been here. We're still here, and we ain't going nowhere. And we've been here way before anybody else has come and try to give us any kind of influence. If anything, we were more influential on the world than the world was influential on us. Okay? And I thought this was funny right here. This is she got everything cooking, and then even the deer had to come through like, oh shit, like, man, what's that cooking over there? Even the deer had to stop. It's like, shoot, I'm out here eating grass. Wait a minute, I smell that succotash. Wait, hold on, sister. Help a deer out, you know what I mean? But anyway, y'all, this is the end of the video. If you've stuck here long enough, I really appreciate you guys. Like I said, we 200 strong, man, and I went way longer than I wanted to go with this video, but I really appreciate you guys rocking with me. I was just really happy to get this out. I was really happy to, do this video for you. It's always a pleasure to bring this content out to you guys. And, it's not only for you guys. I'm archiving these things for my kids as well. I have 3 boys and 3 girls. And I homeschool as well. So, that's just something that, I want them to always have. They can always say, Pops knew what he was talking about when he said we used to do these things, and we are who we are. Is they know, that these things, they can see for themselves why things are the way they are today, and why we do what we do, now. And it's a beautiful thing, There's nothing new under the sun, like I said. It's just things evolve, things progress, But the thing is not to forget. Never forget your past. Always look forward, and at the same time, take that time to look back and appreciate your true story for what it is. The truth. Okay? Never be ashamed of who you are. Never be ashamed of your past. Some of us may have a little bit of an uglier past than others. At the same time, even that ugliness, or what we call ugliness, there's a beauty in it, because without everything happening back then, and this is for everybody. Without the things happening in the past, we would not be where we are today. And today, we are amongst Nijis, rediscovering, relearning ourselves, enjoying ourselves, laughing, talking, communicating, being of a like mind in this safe space. You know what I mean? And going forward in truth and in power. So always be proud of who you are. Be proud of where you came from and be proud of where you're going. Okay? So that being said, this is Chief Steve signing off. Be sure to like this video, share this video, share. Share it to your family members, your loved ones, friends, social media, however. And if you're new, subscribe to the channel. You've endured this video long enough. You deserve to be a subscriber. You deserve to know when these videos come out because you are a real one. You wanted to know the true story and you got it right here for yourself. So, let me know in the comments too how you guys like these presentations, or what you think about it and stuff. I'm reading them. I have no choice. All comments are held for review, and yeah, I'm gonna look at them, I'm gonna read them, and I'm gonna respond to them. So make it good. Just be respectful. That's all I ask. Is just respect one another, respect the culture, and just be proud of yourself. Be proud of one another, because we here. Like I said, we here. We still here. We've always been here, and we ain't going nowhere. All right. Chief Steve signing off. Yakoki and Tatakista. I cherish y'all. See y'all on the next one.